Hi guys, welcome to Public Law Week 5, I believe discussion 4, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the chapter or the prompt this week was for due process and how it relates to helping you out if you're ever accused of terrorism or something along the lines, right? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about due process, its importance, and how it's going to help you if you ever get accused of terrorism. Fingers crossed that does not happen to anyone. So the 15th due process comes from the 5th and 14th Amendment, right? And pretty much those declare that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, property without due process of the law. Pretty much meaning government can't strip away your freedom. They can't strip away and decide you're gonna die today. They can't take away your property without following proper legal procedure. Pretty much meaning that you have to be provided with some type of notice. You have to have your day in court as well, and you have to be heard in front of a neutral party, someone that's not affiliated with the party that is accusing you, right? And again, this is the rule that pretty much sets the standard for government they can't just label you, they can't just punish you, detain you, and or deport you without following legal procedure, and this prevents our rights from being just trodden on by the government on a power trip or anything. And again, this prevents any type of arbitrary action. Due process is very important, right? Us being heard, our voice is all that we have. So the due process rule is super important for the average citizen, because if we don't have that, there's no enforcement for anything, right? It's just a writing on a piece of paper. But being in the amendments, being enforced by the Supreme Court, pretty much means like it's something that's guaranteed to us. It is our right just as much as voting is, right? It's in the Constitution. We have it. No one can take it away from us. Sorry, sidebar. But so it pretty much means that they have to require evidence, right? They have to prove that you are a terrorist if that's what they're accusing you of, or any other crime for whatever they are, and they have to hold the higher burden of proof as well. And it also means that they have to provide access to court as well. Again, a non-neutral decision maker, not affiliated with the accused party, right? Just to, of course, keep it non-biased. And I know last week we discussed the USA Patriot Act, and it definitely put a wrench in it for a lot of our rights, which is why it was challenged, and it was then later not taken down, but reduced, even though some parts, of course, were rebranded. And just to go over a recap for that, it pretty much expanded government surveillance and detention powers that they had when accusing someone of a terrorist. That still doesn't mean that they're just allowed to slap you're a terrorist on your face and be like, yep, but we're going to do whatever we want with them. That still means that they have to present some type of evidence, right? The accused also is supposed to have the opportunity to challenge that evidence in court. And it also means that wherever they're being held until their day in court, or they're allowed to be heard, whatever it is, the detention centers also have to follow legal standards as well. And the Supreme Court addressed that. I don't know exactly what case, sorry, but it was against a couple detainees coming out of or in Guantanamo Bay, and again, pretty much ruling you can't just put someone in an inhabitable place with no hygiene, nothing. Like there are standards to hold. Just because they're in prison doesn't mean that they get to be treated as subhuman. As the professor mentioned in class, dehumanization is one of the first steps to, I guess, just the war on terrorism, right? So just because they're in prison doesn't mean that they're not human and they don't deserve rights and they don't deserve hygiene, regardless of what they've done. And we also see in Hamdi versus Rumsfeld, I believe it is, where the Supreme Court declared that, or they held that even a U.S. citizen, if you're designated as an enemy combatant, or for lack of better words, a domestic terrorist, right, you also still have that right to challenge the designation before a neutral decision party. Again, meaning that the government can't simply declare someone a threat and remove their rights just because they decided that it's convenient for them. Pretty much meaning that accusation does not mean automatic guilt. Right, so that was my TED Talk for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys in class Monday. Thank you.